Hello, everyone. In this session, we are going to explore cartels, oligopoly, and game theory, which are very important concepts in managerial economics. Unlike perfectly competitive markets where firms are price takers, in oligopoly markets, firms are interdependent. That means every decision you make as a manager depends on what your competitors are doing. Think about companies like airlines, tech firms, or automobile manufacturers. There are only a few major players, and each one is constantly watching the others. So, today we will focus on four main things. Number one, why cartels can be profitable but hard to sustain. Number two, and how oligopoly models differ. Number three, the basics of game theory. And number four, how managers can use these ideas to make better decisions. Let's start with the cartels. What is a cartel? A cartel is a group of firms that agree not to compete. They may fix prices, limit production, or divide markets. Why would firms do this? Because when firms act together, they can behave like a monopoly, which means higher prices, lower output, and higher profits. So, in theory, cartels are very profitable. But here is the problem: cartels are very difficult to sustain. There are three main reasons for this. Number one, incentive to cheat. Each firm has a strong incentive to secretly lower prices to capture more market share. Number two, difficulty in coordination. Firms must agree on price, output, and market share, which is not easy. Number three, entry of new firms. New competitors can enter the market and break the cartel. Because of these reasons, cartels tend to collapse over time. And remember, cartels are illegal in the US, so firms cannot openly form them. Now let's move to oligopoly models, which help us understand how firms behave when they do not collude. Number one, Cournot model, that is also called quantity competition. In the Cournot model, firms compete by choosing output levels. Each firm assumes the competitor's output will not change. The key idea is interdependence. Each firm's best decision depends on what the other firm does. This leads to something called a best response curve. And where both firms' responses meet, we get the Cournot equilibrium. Here is important insight: firms produce more than a monopoly but less than perfect competition. Number two is a Chamberlain model, also called implicit cooperation. Here, firms recognize their independence and informally cooperate. They act like a monopoly without explicit agreement. This results in higher profits than could not shared monopoly outcomes. But this requires some level of trust. Number three is Stackelberg model, also called first mover advantage. In this model, one firm moves first and it's called leader firm. The other firms follow. The leader has an advantage because it can anticipate the follower's reaction. Here's the key takeaway: being first can give a firm higher profits. Number four, Bertrand model, also called price competition. Here, firms compete on price instead of quantity. What happens? Firms keep lowering prices to attract customers. This continues until price equals marginal cost, or MC. And what is the result? The result is zero economic profit. This is called the Bertrand paradox because even with only two firms, the outcome looks like perfect competition. Now, let's connect everything with the game theory, which is a tool used to analyze strategic decision making. What is game theory? Game theory studies situations where multiple players interact. Each player's outcome depends on others. Each game has number one, players, number two, strategies, number three, payoffs. Payoff matrix example. Imagine two firms deciding whether to set a high price or low price. Each firm's profit depends on its own decision, the competitor's decision. And there is a dominant strategy. A dominant strategy is the best choice regardless of what the competitor does. If both firms have dominant strategies, we get a dominant strategy equilibrium. Now let's look at Nash equilibrium. This is a very important concept. A Nash equilibrium occurs when each player is doing the best they can given what the other player is doing. No one has an incentive to change. So here's the problem. The problem is called prisoner's dilemma. Often firms end up in a situation where both choose a strategy that's safe but not optimal. For example, both firms choose low price, even though both would be better off with high price. This explains why collusion is hard to sustain. In real life, firms interact repeatedly. This changes everything. Repeated games. What are the repeated games? When firms interact multiple times, cooperation becomes possible. Firms can punish cheating. And here are the key strategies. Number one, tit for tat. Start cooperating, then copy competitors' last move. And then there is a trigger strategy. It's a cooperate until competitor cheats, then punish permanently. These strategies can help sustain cooperation. And there is an end period problem. If firms know the game will end, they will cheat in the last period, which can break cooperation earlier. Now, let's bring this to real world decision making. As a manager, you should always think about how competitors will respond. Understand whether your market is price based, like a bird rand, quantity based, that is Cournot. Then evaluate whether cooperation is sustainable. Also, use strategy to influence competitor behavior. Also, remember, credibility matters. If you make a threat or promise, competitors must believe it. To summarize, cartels can increase profits but are unstable. Oligopoly models help explain firm behavior. Game theory helps us analyze strategic decisions. And last but not the least, managers must think beyond their own actions and consider competitors. I hope you found this session insightful. See you in the next session. Thank you.